Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for checking out this video here on Show Style and Spirit. I am Ebony, of course. And as you can see from the title of this video, I will be recapping the latest episode of Love and Marriage Huntsville. We have to talk about Martell Holt's feminine energy that he is tapped into. Okay, is he transitioning? Is he about to change up his pronouns? I know that the government will no longer acknowledge a change in pronouns, but he seems to be going in that direction, allegedly, and in my opinion. And we have to talk about Trisha definitely trying to lie again. But Melody Cherie and the viewers of this show are way too smart to believe anything that comes out of that girl's mouth. She thinks she's so slick and that she can throw you off and you can't piece things together. We're going to get into it all. Ken will probably make another post talking about people's alleged wigs and body shapes. I don't wear a wig, Ken. I have locks. Of course, now before we get into it all, I ask that you please hit the like button on this video and please subscribe to the channel. Everything that I'm saying in this video is alleged and just my opinion. And the Copyright Act of 1976 says that my fair use commentary on a soundbite is allowed. All right, so the episode picks up with them at the end of field day that Destiny hosted. I have to say, shame on Destiny. Now, she may not have been able to predict that Martell was going to attack Tisha's sex history and try to embarrass her. Perhaps Destiny did not see that coming. But in any event, she knows, presumably she knows Martell so long. They've been friends since high school and they're strictly friends. They've never smashed. So you didn't know that he would become so unhinged that anybody could get it? Why would she ask such messy questions? Obviously, Destiny and Martell pre-produced for this field day, and he wanted to suddenly come after Marceau because he was mad at Marceau for how he answered a question regarding the Revenge P arrest with Dustin Ross. He can't speak his mind. He can't be honest saying that that's not cool because it ain't cool, Martell. It's bitchy. It's bitchy to threaten a woman with Revenge P because you're mad at her. And then you take it out on Tisha. You're not man enough to take it out on Marceau. You did do some jabs in this scene. You said to Marceau that whom Tisha married is not as attractive as the man that she slept with, and that you're the bottom of the barrel. And Marceau said, well, she kept this barrel. And Tisha was defending herself, saying that, whomever the gentleman was in college. Tisha, you do not owe anyone an explanation. I get so exhausted and mad when people try to sex shame a woman. We've seen it in the press several times, including Megan Thee Stallion in Tory Lane's Pow Pow case. A man always thinks that he's putting a woman in her place by either talking about her physical looks, fronting on her about being single, or if she is uninhibited, he tries to sex shame her. But Tisha did not do anything to you, Martell. As a matter of fact, after your unhinged shouting, Tisha, in my opinion, was still going very light on you. She was in a laughing way saying, you lied on me. You just lied on me. She said it in a joking way. I would have been pissed. Don't sex shame me. You cannot talk. You're the promiscuous one, allegedly, with multiple partners while you were married. Get out of here. You cannot judge me. And Kimmi, shame on you as well. You're actually worse than Destiny. Kimmi said in her confessional that both Martell and Marceau were wrong. Kimmi, Marceau was defending himself when he said that Martell taught him how to not lose his family due to messing around with a terrible side chick. Kimmi, I don't know what it is about, your blind loyalty to Martell, but he causes you to lose all judgment. You turn into like, no shade to Maurice, but you turn into like a drunk driver, someone who is impaired and lacks judgment. When it comes to Martell, I've never seen you come so hard against Marceau, verbally, except for when it comes to this situation with Martell. I find that to be very, very interesting. What a shame. Kimmi, I don't know. I guess perhaps season one, you came off so reasonable and, of course, articulate. We knew that you were a nurse. That's a very respectable job. I just don't understand who you are, though, as a woman. It gives beyond pick me, beyond male identified, just something else at this point. So Destiny does this dramatic walk off. If you all are going to do this, I'm out of here. Destiny, you knew it was going to go left because you and Martell put your little pea brains together and came up with those messy questions so that Martell could go off. She walks off and they have to tell Lance to, go see about her. And then he, opens up the door for her and I guess he takes her home and everyone else gets up and leaves. And Kimmi actually said to Marceau that he was wrong. I just do not understand Kimmi at all. And I will never try to understand her because I do not want to inherit that same type of mentality. The Fletchers were pretty much silent. Even Maurice, in a joking way, like how Tisha was almost laughing, saying, "You lied on me." Maurice was saying, "Oh, that's just Martell. That's just Martell. He, he, he." Why do you all make excuses for this dude? Why do you just make light of what he says? Of course, lots of the viewers say Martell has things on them. That's why they play his games. At what point do you get tired of playing games? Dang, I know that you all have a pact. Shout out to Melody Cherie. But at what point do you say, you know what? F it. I'm going to speak my truth. I made a mistake. We're still married. No one can judge us. We're still together. It's nobody's business at the end of the day. But we are on a reality TV show with this unhinged clown who keeps holding our secrets over us. Here, let's just do the big reveal so that he can shut up. If you all speak your truth, you weaken Martell to the point he's shrunk like in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. He won't be able to say anything else if you just spray your own ish. But to keep playing by Martell's rules, that is a dangerous game. And he's just going to disrespect you at any time, at any moment, anyway. So then we see where Tisha and Marceau, they go to a jewelry store because Tisha wants to get him a band that perhaps he'd be excited about wearing because he has not been wearing his wedding band. I would have a problem with that if I was married to someone and they stopped wearing their band. Because you open the door for these hoes to just hit on you, tempt you with sex, and I just feel like that's opening up yourself to an energy, to a situation that is anti marriage. And I think that it's a very bad idea. Tisha obviously cannot get her husband to wear his wedding band, but she filmed this scene to try and get him to do it. And Tisha asked Marceau, what does the wedding band symbolize? He said it symbolizes nothing. Tisha said, no, it symbolizes your commitment. Well, I'm here in Detroit, of course, and there is a church called Hartford who was once pastored by the late, great Reverend Charles Adams. And Reverend Adams, when I went to a wedding, it was at nighttime, I'll never forget. It was the Friday after Thanksgiving, and there was a Detroit Lion getting married, and my brother stood up in the wedding. And it was on a Friday night. There were candles lit at Hartford. It was beautiful. Anyway, Reverend Adams explained that the circular wedding band, it represents how your love, your marriage is on a continuum and that love never ends. And so, Marceau, that is the symbol of the wedding band, and your ass needs to be wearing one. In this scene, they also talked about Tisha, and I also want to say again, rest in peace to Reverend Charles Adams. He also preached Miss Rosa Parks' funeral when she passed. But back to Tisha and Marceau. So Tisha talked about how, for the past 6 years, basically since the filming of the show, she has felt judged by people, and it did send her into a depression. And Marceau, there are these times when Marceau and Tisha, they kind of come off like father and daughter and not husband and wife. And this is one of those moments. Especially at reunion time, Marceau totally acts like her dad, and those early seasons of Love and Marriage Huntsville, he was totally acting like he was raising her and disciplining her. But in any event, Marceau talks about how, if an adult says something about you, that's their mouth. It's not anything that you can control. All you can do is control your response. He even mentioned Stormy. He said, when Stormy called me a bitch, like there was nothing that I could do about that. And he's definitely right. Now, I know it's very obvious, you choose to be on a reality TV show, so you open yourself up to people's judgments. And unfortunately, you have a cast member, a coworker, Martell Holt, who's also saying crazy-ish about you as well. And I think that the Scots, they are definitely at their wits' end in terms of playing Martell's game. But I have a feeling until they decide to spray their own ish, they're going to always play to a certain extent to Martell's games. Martell Holt is definitely the puppet master. And let's move along. So then we see where Tisha and Melody Cherie, they have a scene together. The restaurants in Huntsville, they are so cool. I feel like visually they are stunning and they're very modern and contemporary. And so I love that they highlight different spots in Huntsville. And so they are talking, Tisha said that, she couldn't wait to come back home after the girls' trip. And they start discussing Maurice Scott. And Melody brings up his very red lips. And Tisha's like, oh, I think he just has pink lips. Oh, I think he had a drink. What kind of a... Tisha, come on now. Okay, so it's one thing if it was a woman getting the DUI and she drank strawberry daiquiris all night, or she drank pomegranate martinis all night, or if she drank sangria all night. But to say that a man, I'm not saying that a man cannot order fruity drinks, but the odds of it happening seem kind of low, in my opinion. So now Maurice had a fruity drink. He had something that like you would order. Is Maurice drinking lemon drops as well, or Amaretto sours? Amaretto sours. That kind of reminds me of being a very inexperienced drinker. My college days, not really knowing what to order. Tisha, you're talking like Maurice is like that girl, okay? I know Martell is tapping into feminine energy, but Maurice ordering fruity drinks, that is something that I'd have to see. I would need you to like post that on IG the next time he does that, okay? But Melody was not letting down. She's like, oh my gosh, girl, you don't see those pink lips. Now, I don't know if Maurice just has really pink lips. I honestly have never paid attention to his lips like that to be able to say, well, in that picture, it was more pink than usual. But what do you all think? Do you think he just has really pink lips? Or do you think that was traces of somebody's lipstick, like the Escape album, Traces of My Lipstick? Well, after Melody was not backing down, Tisha left. She did not pay for her food. I think it was all jokes. Of course, we know Melody got it, okay? Unlike Tasha K, but Melody hashtag got it, okay? So Tisha wanted to leave. She did leave. And Melody said in her confessional that she believes that the Scots, both 1.0 and 2.0, they've made a pact. that they will not disparage each other when they're filming the show, not in any scenes and not in any confessionals. And she said that Tisha did not want to appear as if she was breaking that pact. And I definitely feel like the Scotts have had a pact. In fact, Carlos King has acknowledged it at one of the former reunions. And he seems okay with it that the Scotts have agreed that certain things they will not talk about. I think it was the season 3 reunion where Carlos King, actually said that. And I know that Sunny, when she gives her producer's perspective, she talks about how, no producer can make you film a scene, go to a place, or say a certain something. But, to hear that there's a straight up pact not to talk about certain things, that's strange. I mean, at the same time, I know, again, you can't force anyone to do anything, but does Carlos King try to speak to the Scotts about the lack of authenticity in that when you have a pact? It's one thing to tell a producer, no, I'm not going to go to that place. I experienced racism there. I'm very traumatized, or I'm not going to film this scene with Martell, or I'm not going to film with Selena. There's a no contact order that involves the law. But just to say, oh yeah, we got a pact where we're not going to spray each other's secrets, that just seems like y'all want to try and portray a facade on camera. And to me, there's definitely a difference. And why would Carlos be okay with that when it comes to the Scotts, but then totally let Selena film violating the no contact order over on Bell Collective? Something to think about. Then we see these two clowns, Destiny and Martell. So Destiny in this scene is saying that Tisha caught all sorts of strays and that Martell owes her an apology. Martell definitely seems like he is not apologizing. And he even tries to insinuate that Marceau has cheated on Tisha and that Tisha accepts it, and that Tisha was trying to teach someone how to respectfully cheat, trying to coach Marceau on what to say and what not to say in regards to their marriage. Destiny, shocker, she doesn't really believe that Tisha would teach someone how to respectfully cheat. But then you totally try to embarrass Melody Cherie with that notion during the girls' trip. It's just jarring, her words back to Martell a few seasons back, the lack of empathy, just like she said to Martell years ago. And so Martell definitely is not backing down. Destiny cannot convince him to apologize. And what producers did was they cut away between this scene as well as the scene between Chris Fletcher and Marceau, and they went back and forth, basically, I guess, getting their perspectives on what happened at Field Day. And Chris Fletcher explained in his confessional that Marceau is building a spec home, and spec is short for speculative home, meaning that the builder is building a new house without a buyer in mind, and they are speculating that a buyer will become interested once the home is complete. And during their conversation, Marceau was explaining to Chris Fletcher that he thinks that the residents of Huntsville will be open to a more contemporary style home. In my opinion, that is very risky to invest so much money and time, and you're paying workers to build this house if it's going to have a style that the average homeowner in the area is not used to. Like where I live, there's a bunch of houses with sun porches. And so like I have a sun porch. You can totally tell that this house originally did not have a sun porch and the sellers added it. But the reason why they did that is for resale, because they wanted to be able to sell this house, because they figured if anyone who comes in and looks at this house would think, oh, I noticed all the other homes have sun porches. If you stand in my backyard and you look down, you can see the sun porches. So you would think, oh, let me add something that's commonly shared amongst a lot of the other homes. So I find that to be interesting that Marceau was telling Chris, I think that the people are ready to experience a more contemporary style home, something different. I just hope that they do find a buyer who becomes interested. And also, Marceau told Chris Fletcher that, yeah, we still do commercial building, but these residential builds are just layups, meaning like they're easy. I wish he would have elaborated on that. I know that this is a reality TV show and there's going to be some drama, but no, like explain to me why is it that building a house is like a layup in comparison to a commercial building? And how did you get into that? Because, or perhaps he passed the builder's test and he has his builder's license. I would like to know more about that instead of just little teeny tiny sound bites here and there. And Chris Fletcher, he was able to see just these bare bones of the house. He was like, oh, a floating stairway and all these huge windows. He was able to visualize what the house is going to look like. And I think that that really speaks to Chris Fletcher's experience in real estate and him just being able to see what that home is going to look like. And he said that he is moving his real estate office to North Huntsville. So I think that that is great. So I hope if there's a next season that Chris Fletcher, they show him in his new office in North Huntsville and why that is important to that area. But of course, they mostly talked about the field day and Marceau just basically saying, Martell, that hoe ain't loyal. If I were to quote a song and use a song to sum it up. And they talked about how Martell was just crazily disrespectful. And Marceau pointed out to Chris Fletcher, he said he's called your wife a side chick a couple times. And Chris was like, yeah, and he know I don't play that ish. He's like, well, you don't really get to go to that lengths, that low blow, and expect that you can just apologize and then we get right back to where it is. Marceau even acknowledged in his confessional that he and Martell do not hang out like that. He said, we don't spend any real time with Martell, so it's not like we can influence him or help him hold himself accountable. So in other words, they are not friends. Martell is totally not friends with the Scotts. Not a shocker to all of us, but Marceau did say it. Then we see Melody Cherie meeting with Trisha. So Melody said in this episode that she wanted to follow up with all of the ladies one by one to get their feedback on the girls' trip. She said that's what a host should do. Well, also during her conversation with Trisha, Trisha acknowledged the fact that she left early without saying goodbye to Melody because she said some of the women made it awkward. Melody told Trisha what I was thinking. She said, will you help to make it awkward when you lied to your air quote friends? And they showed the clip where, Trisha admits that she lied about going to Martell's home. Then this is when she tries to lie again. So Melody asked her, did you think it was odd to go train a man at his home that you did not know? And Trisha's like, well, I can't say that I didn't know him. I knew of him because I went to school with Tez, his brother. But still, Trisha, I I look at being a woman and you're dealing with men, you just don't want to be in certain environments with a man, especially if you two are not together, especially if you do not know him, especially if you're just trying to transact business. And if you are a fitness trainer, that is your business. So, oh no, we have to meet at a gym or we have to meet at a park. We cannot meet at your house. And again, I do not know you. But what did you know of him? What did you know of him? Did you hear some rumors or something? I'm sure if you knew of him, what did you know in addition to him being Montez's brother? But Trisha, you totally stripped yourself of any credibility that you had left when you said, well, I knew of him. Okay, girl. So Melody proceeds and she says, which house did you go to? Trisha is giving all these one word answers. I don't know what it is about women and Martell, but they know they will cover for a ninja. And so she's like, oh, it was a big house. Really, Trisha? And then Melody is being very patient. She's like, so was it in the mountain? Where was it? And she's like, in the mountains. And off which road? Trisha's like, I don't really know. Now that could be possible. It's been 4 years. She may have forgotten the name of the road. But I know my friends, I can go to their parents' house back in high school. I can't get in my car and go to their parents' house right now. I'm just saying. But that's just me. But so Melody says, okay, what was the driveway like? Because in the mountains, those homes, those driveways all got something going on. And, Trisha's like, oh no, it was a regular driveway. So whatever Melody said, Trisha would give the opposite. Okay. Just like low level lying. She said it was a light colored house. And Melody's like, okay, well, that was the house that I left him in. And he left that house in August. He moved out. So then Trisha says, oh, it was like in the fall when I went over there. It was chilly outside. And Melody's like, it couldn't have been. He was gone by August. So whatever Melody gave a little nugget, Trisha would say the opposite. She thinks that she is just so slick, y'all. It's so annoying. I know she plays these reindeer games with Ken, okay? Whatever he tries to get out of her, she says the opposite to confuse him, to throw him off. But Melody Cherie, she says in her confessional, she is failing miserably. And she comes off like a liar. She comes off untrustworthy. Melody Cherie, you and I are on the same page, baby. We see each other. And Melody was spot on. And I guess when Ken starts to pick up on Trisha's lies, she probably just puts it on him in the bedroom and then he doesn't even care anyway. You cannot trust a person like Trisha. Absolutely not. But kudos to Melody for even filming with this girl. And she looked great. I love the two-piece that she wore. Super duper cute, Mel. And I thank you all so much for checking out this video. Please hit the like button on this video as it is a free way of supporting the channel. And please subscribe to Shows Style and Spirit if you have not already done so. And I hope that you all have had a great weekend. The sun is out a little bit right now, so I'm going to go out and enjoy it. I'm going to grab the Family Business 7 book that I'm on, and I'll probably, after I grab something to eat, go to the park and do some reading before I go grocery shopping. And I hope that you all are doing great today, and I will talk with you soon. Bye.